But this is trespassing on sport, so I give way to the sports department.
Ever since history began, the horse has been the friend of man, ready both sport and toil to face, for his master's sake to plough and race, for his master's sake to exploit his speed, the faithful, gallant, undaunted steed.
That's all right, Alan, don't make us itch. We know all about the horse, but which? I got a horse, he's got a horse, you got a horse, we got a horse.
Everyone's got a horse, of course, and over the downs by car and bus streams the great British sporting public, us, by train or foot or by donkey shay, for we all got a horse on Derby Day. It's a panorama of gay humanity, and if you overhear some profanity, that's the gypsy giving the copper lip, or the tipster giving the world his tip. For he's got a horse, and he's got a horse, and he's got a horse, and he's got a horse.
Got a horse! I've got a horse! So I'm bridle, you don't want to worry about Pasch. That'll not be in the first three. Winners! Winners!
So, primed with the secrets of the trade, we can visit the boys of the old brigade, Bert and Harry and Joe and Ike, the old firm. Choose the one you like. These are the fellows with great resources. You've got a horse, but they've got horses.
Number one. Here you are. Thank you, sir. Take a ticket. Which one? Here two, here five to two. Your leg and the furthest inside. Here five to two to fail.
That's the spirit. But hold everything, for here in a minute comes the king. Whisper it softly. Here's what I sense. He's got a horse. Is that taking license? Since time is passing, let's take a walk down in the paddock where tall hats talk and watch the wretched trainer getting cold feet over his runner sweating. Among this throng you will find, of course, the men who really own their horse.
You mean the owners, isn't that Pasch?
Yes, there's the horse that carries my cash. I put much more than I can afford on a first-time Derby winner for Gordon. Well, that's the paddock. We'd better look smart, for it's almost time for the race to start. And while the runners parade the course for the last-minute close-up of your horse, I'll clear my throat, professional cough, and get prepared to report the off. The 22 runners are away uphill on their 1.5 mile and 5 yards journey. Among those who have had a poor start is Bois Roussel, but Pasch, good old Pasch, secures an early place on the rails. It's never very easy to identify the leaders in the initial stages, but perhaps you'd like to try and pick out the King's horse, License. So concentrate on the leading group and see if you can spot a light tassel on a dark cap near the rails. In the meanwhile, I'm omitting to mention that the actual leader is Halcyon Gift, 100 to 1 outsider. Halcyon Gift leads the 50 to 1 Chatsworth as they move past the bushes in the second half mile, and the punter's hopes of big money on a long shot rise. Of course, Pasch is not far away, and the majority still regard him as a dead certainty. But the second favourite, Scottish Union, is now beginning to show up, and you can see him past Chatsworth as Halcyon Gift strides along 2 lengths ahead of the field. Switch over to Tattenham Corner. The horses in order of running are Halcyon Gift, Scottish Union, Pasch. The rain, which has held off all the morning, is now coming down in earnest, but is hardly noticed as the critical stage of the 1938 Derby is reached. Half a mile to go along the straight and anybody's race. The second favourite, Scottish Union, is overhauling Halcyon Gift with Pasch a stride or two behind. The favourites are wearing down the outsider, and it begins to look like a duel between Carslake and Gordon Richards on Scottish Union and Pasch. Scottish Union is out in front at last, and Pasch is making his big effort, but unexpected sensation. Suddenly, from nowhere, the French-bred horse Bois Roussel appears on the outside, and making his bid with a terrific burst of speed, flashes past the leaders. So fast is he that we slowed down the film to give you a fuller impression of how he outstrips the favourites. The horse of which so little was known that the tipsters fought shy of him clears up all doubts by winning the Derby. A supercharger of a horse, Bois Roussel proves himself under the experienced hand of Charlie Elliott, the best 3-year-old of the season, and pays 20 to 1, winner from Scottish Union and Pasch.
Don't you think you were rather rash, putting your cash on the favourite, Pasch?
Oh, it's one of those things. You never can tell. How many knew about Bois Roussel? A horse with stamina, and so fleet he even astounded Mr. Beattie, his owner, the happiest man on the course. Why shouldn't he be? He's got a horse.